Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the October 29th Board of County Commissioners meeting. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, minutes are the first thing on our agenda. Do we have any additions or corrections? I have none.
I don't. I move to approve the proceedings of the Board of County Commissioners for Montezuma County for October 22nd, 2024 as presented.
And I'll second it. It's been moved and seconded to accept the proceedings of the Board of Commissioners, Montezuma County for October 22nd, 2024. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right, next we have our public comment. We have no planning today. The Board of County Commissioners welcomes you to this meeting. Person speaking during public comment will be limited to 3 minutes, or depending on the number of people wishing to speak, it may be reduced to allow all the members of the public the opportunity to address the board. When addressing the board, please state your name and address for the record prior to providing your comments. Comments to individual supervisors or staff are not permitted, and participants may not yield their time to others. And with that, the public comment session is open.
Hello, my name is Sandra Jumper. I live at 35498 Road R in Mancos, on Summit Ridge. I am representing the Summit Ridge Women's Club. We have been a service organization since 1923 and participated in many projects in the area. We contribute scholarships and things like that. We want to ask your support in asking the Colorado Department of Transportation survey on the stretch of Highway 184, specifically between milepost 12 and milepost 23. In the past few months, there's been 2 very serious accidents. One involved a fatality of a young man, and the latest one, which was 2 weeks ago, involved a serious injury to a mother and her 2 children, and it's been on the curb between, by the Smiley Face Barn. Everybody knows where that is. I contacted be put on the agenda. I received a very prompt response from Mr. Anderson saying that I needed to contact CDOT, and I did so. I talked to an Ada Christensen, and she indicated that I needed to reach out to you as the commissioners, and you need to ask, the commissioners need to ask for a specific traffic study for this area. So, this particular curve that I'm talking about, the speed limit is 60. All of the other curves on that road of Highway 184, the speed limit is 55. So that's one of the areas. Also, several of the areas have guardrails, and this one doesn't on either side. And that would help in a lot of cases because it's a very steep drop off. So, as most of the Summit Ridge Women's Club members live on or near 184, we see a lot of traffic. We see a lot of speeders. We see a lot of people passing on no passing zones, a lot of large trucks, semis going down that road at a high rate of speed. So we're just asking if you could contact CDOT to ask for a traffic study for that area. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
18405 Road P.2, Metz and Cortez. I'm here this morning to read a letter from a neighbor of mine who is unable to attend, and it's regarding Resolution 2/2015. Dear County Commissioners, as a resident and proud citizen of our farming community in Cortez, please consider amending the Resolution number 2/2015 addressing renewable energy. We are asking to strike the phrase "and agricultural/residential" parentheses AR, keeping utilities in solar facilities and industrial zone land. I encourage you to shake a farmer's hand, get to know your business, how they see the future of farming and how you can support them. Learn about the dry land soil that magically produces crops
each year despite the weather forecast. We need to protect our ability to contribute to the food supply on the land that has been found in
this county for generations.
Keep utility scale solar facilities out of front yards impacting residents, general aesthetic and health. Keep utility scale solar on industrial zone land, securing a future for our farmers and the local supporting farming industry. Sincerely, Joy Cochran,
789 Road S in Cortez.
Thank you. Next. Good morning.
My name is Beth Hal. I live at 17557 Cortez, Colorado. I am here today to voice my strong support to amend the resolution number 2-2015 as presented on October 22nd, 2024. Nina Tech, my great aunt, homesteaded where we live, which is located in Dillon Point in 1912. As well as you, the commissioners, I have lived here all my life. I am asking you to amend resolution number 2-2015 to preserve, protect our beloved rural community. I'm also leaving you this letter with my email address and phone number if you have any questions to follow up. Thanks.
Thank you. Next. Okay, seeing no further public comment, we will close the public comment session of this meeting, and we will jump straight down into unfinished business. First of all, in our workshop yesterday, we had a supplemental budget request for Road and Bridge for the Road S Haycamp chip seal project presented by Ms. Harris of the department. If you can bring that up, I think it was a tune of $39,000. Do you have any questions, Commissioner?
I don't. It's just it was request to increase the funds for what was appropriated to begin with and what they needed to finish the job, so I don't have any problem.
Okay.
I move to approve Resolution 13-2024 a resolution appropriating additional funds of money to defray expenses in excess of amounts budgeted for Montezuma County Road and Bridge Department for some chip seal, to finish a chip seal project on Road S, the Haycamp Road, in the amount of $30,725.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to accept resolution number 13, 2024, appropriating additional sums of money to defray expenses in excess of amounts budgeted for Montezuma County Road and Bridge Department, and that will be in the amount of $30,725. Is there further discussion?
I don't have any.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. And we also had presented yesterday from Ms. Harris from the Road Department. We did have 4 bids. We do have an apparent low bidder. The recommendation is to accept the apparent low bidder of Bechtold Engineering out of Durango for the 18425 Road 25 realignment project. We have a lot of traffic that has been using that, and the conversation that we had with CDOT is that we're getting too much traffic onto that road and it's time to repair it. So the engineering firm for this project is at $145,534.34. So that's what was presented to us yesterday. Any other questions or comments, Commissioner?
I don't have any.
Okay.
I think I move to accept the bid for the Highway 184, Road 25 project to Bechtold in the amount of $145,534.34.
Second, it's been moved and seconded to accept the Highway 184 and Road 25 realignment project for the engineering to Bechtold Engineering in the amount of $145,534.34. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we are going to go by the next bullet point. There was a lot of conversation in the meeting yesterday as far as, or do you have anything else that you would like to add, Mr. Dietrich, before I just go by it? Okay. Okay. So bullet point number 3 will be passed at this time. We do have a letter of support, so Mr. Dietrich, if you want to come up, for the Forest Service to CPW, and I will let you elaborate on that.
Good morning, everyone. Yes, we have a request from the United States Forest Service to support a grant request from the Colorado Parks and Wildlife Division for their motorized trail grant. This particular grant request will help the Forest Service work on 3 specific projects. The first one will be the Twin Springs Trail Project, and this is a pretty popular trail. It's a motorized route. It connects to a number of other motorized trails such as Eagle Peak, Stoner Mesa, Calico, and Priest Gulch trails, as well as a number of other Forest Service roads. The project will also help support the Dozer 25 project, which is a heavy equipment maintenance on a variety of trails. And also the good management trail crew, which would be hand crew using funds for motorized work and on about 220 miles of motorized routes. So that is the request today from the United States Forest Service.
And this is pretty much a typical grant association that we almost see annually, correct?
Yes, that's correct. They come to us every year for support on these grant requests.
All right.
I move to sign this letter of support for the Dolores Ranger District motorized grant request to the Colorado Parks and Wildlife.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to sign the letter of support for the Colorado, or the Forest Service submitted to the Colorado Parks and Wildlife. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Just sign it and you can get it over there too. All right, if you'll, do you have,
That's it for me.
that's it?
Yep.
Okay,
Okay. Thank you,
very
gentlemen.
good, thanks, James, appreciate it. I will catch up to you later on in the day, though. All right. A transfer order to Public Health. Do you have that one, Commissioner?
Hold on yet.
Do you have a number?
No. Okay.
I'm saving the best for last.
I move to approve order number 3, 2024, a transfer of $39,765 from general fund to public health fund for 2024 per capita calculations.
So it's been moved and seconded, I second that. It's been moved and seconded to, get out of sequence here, accept transfer order number 3, 2024, a transfer of $39,765 from the general fund to the public health fund for the 2024 per capita calculations. And that's on an estimated population of 26,510. Is there any further discussion?
I don't have any.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Let me elaborate just a little bit more on that, because I think some people don't understand what Montezuma County pays for public health. In this county, we allocate, what you just saw, that is $1.50 per person in this county, and that was on the number of the 26,150. That's all that we pay out of this county coffers for public health. So just so that everybody knows that, because a lot of people think that the county itself comes out of the general fund, and it doesn't, other than the allocation that we just approved, which is $1.50 per person per capita. So, all right, moving on to the last bullet point, we have a conversation here to provide county insurance discussion. HR Department, Mr. Bug, come on down. You're bringing us a 20% decrease, right?
Did I do that? That one is great, yes. All right. So we have to re-look at a couple of things so that way I can bring you up to speed. So the numbers, the other one, please, sorry. So this is a copy of the original numbers that Akashur brought us, Jake brought us. Nothing has changed with our recommendation of who to go with. The only difference is after I crunched the numbers to see really where the insurance was at, to make sure what we were presented is what we thought it was, one, and two, because we are going to have an employee copay now. I was going to have to do the math to figure out what the copay is. And so as I did, so as I was doing the math, I found a mistake in his math. So the explanation of the mistake is, in fiscal year 2023, as we ended that year, we had a credit of $150,000 with Cigna. So it was rolled into FY24 to drop the cost of all the plans to the county. So those numbers are what we have worked off of the entire time for budgeting purposes. So when this went out to bid, and as you can see, if you scroll to the right, anyways, what Cigna did is they came in very high, like the highest of everybody. So what they did is, we do have a credit this year of just over $100,000 if we were to stay with Cigna. They applied it to buy down their bid to try and get their number closer to what everybody else's bid would be. They were still above what the lower bid was that has equal quality insurance. So we're choosing not to go with Cigna, we're choosing to still go with United. When he did his math, he used the actual number that we would be paying this year, the non-discounted price. That's how he came in at the 12.74% increase, when the reality is we've been paying that discounted price and we're basing our budget off of that, and then the increase of the budget would be anything above that. So it really came in at 18.64%. That is still the cheapest bid on the table with equal and quality insurance. But what that did is it guaranteed that the employee is going to have to pay the whole 15% allocation that we were looking at, because it didn't come in at 12.74, which the employees would only pay 12.75% to cover the difference. With that 15% payment by the employee, the county still has money to pay to keep the total whole. So otherwise, we will have to have the employee pay more than 15% for their insurance.
So what's the overall, what's the total
Second one, please.
increase?
So if you look at the numbers, the top numbers are what we're currently should be paying.
Yep.
Right, that's what the bid process is on in the black. The increase, and you can see the numbers, and even though the numbers individually are higher than the 18, it's the aggregate of how many people were in each plan. So how they bid this, everybody bid this, is if you had 20 people in the first, 20 in the second, 20 in the third, 20 in the fourth, they took that, added the new math to it, and then when the total aggregate of the cost of the insurance was, subtracted from the previous year, it came in at the 18.64. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So then what you do is, obviously, so the actual differences are higher than the 18 for some and then lower for the HSA. when we have a lot of people that use the HSA. So, basically what it means is we recommend to not use the base anymore because it really has no value to us or the employee, because that's a $2,000 deductible and the mid is a $1,000 deductible. And when you do all the math, they're going to pay $87 more to save $1,000 in their deductible. So it really doesn't make any good math for anybody. And it costs us more to provide it. So we're opting in, and the benefits committee agrees that we just need to drop the base out. So in FY25, we would only offer the buy-up, the mid, and the HSA. The HSA is still no cost to the county or the employee, and they still get $73.35 put into their HSA account instead of $190. The employee is eating the entire cost in what's getting put into their account. So they're still covering the cost, that 15%. So it's still no cost to the county.
So drop the base, because if I look at the base, it's $47.88 to $37.88, so it's $10
Saves us
more.
$10 and actually saves the employee in the long run. They're only going to pay $87 more for the whole year to have a $1,000 lower deductible. So if they're using the insurance, they're going to pay $87 to save $913.
Okay.
So it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense for our employee if they're.
So then you're saying basically keep the buy-up, the mid, and the HSA?
That is correct.
Okay.
And so what you see for the county pay now is going to be an additional $69.76 for buy-up, $37.68 for the mid plan, and $0 for the HSA.
And we won't know what all of these are until after we have our open enrollment in
Correct.
December?
November.
Or November?
Mhm. Now, hedging, which you can't hedge, so the thing is you still have to budget for worst case scenario, that everybody's going to probably, would buy the buy-up plan because you have to have the money in the budget. But I mean, I really don't see very many. We don't have a ton of people currently on the buy-up, but if you look, the previous amount that they paid was the $74.87. So now, instead of, in the old plan it was $74, in the new plan it's going to be the $234.87. And all that is the difference between a $0 deductible and a $1,000 deductible for the other plan, and a little bit better. You really would have to use a lot of insurance to make up the difference on just getting the mid plan and paying the $147. So that's something that my office is going to go around to every division this year personally, meet with every person in every division and explain everything now that we have a cost associated to it to the employee, so they have a highly educated choice on what they really need to do for insurance. That's the fair thing to do. And so getting information from AccuSure to go with it, that way, because it really comes down to anything else, like when you're budgeting, they need to really know, if I only go one time a year and I'm okay with having the higher deductible, then it might be the HSA. If I'm kind of a semi-user and don't want to have to, probably the mid's good. If I'm one of those people like me, which I'm not going to do the buy-up, but is in and out all the time for getting hurt or whatever, then it might be in your best interest to pay the extra money. But when you really do the math on how much more you're paying versus what you're saving in the plan, you're almost paying more out than you're going to get back with the buy-up.
So
So I don't see very many people doing the buy-up plan, but it's still out, and we still feel that we need to offer it.
Sure, yeah,
Yep.
I mean, that would be up to each individual
Yep.
to pick and choose
Right.
whichever way they want to go.
So I see most people are going to probably either do the mid or the HSA.
So my question now is, what did the benefits committee say when this presentation was done, or have we done that
They're
yet?
good with this. The only concern I have right now, and I'm working right now with AccuSure, is that every time that you switch insurance companies, regardless of who it is, all of your people, especially anybody that has prescriptions, especially depending on what prescriptions they have worked at some point to probably get that medication at a good price. Whether it wasn't initially when they got put on it, and then we got with Cigna and worked to do that. So one of the divisions had a question about that, and we're working right now. We got the list today to get it to them. I don't think it can disqualify switching, because under guidance from you would be, I guess, it would be the discussion. If we were to stick with Cigna, the increase is much higher. And we have this to offer that offers the exact same insurance that Cigna's offering. It's just if there's a medication issue for some people, which is a limited number of people, then what do we do? Because otherwise, it's vastly more expensive to stay with Cigna. So either we would have to pick it up as the county, or because allow the employees to vote, and then they would probably have to pick it up on their side, depending on what you choose. And in my opinion, I mean, I think we can work with a new insurance company to try and guarantee that the medications are taken care of. Because my understanding is, and from Jake, is United owns their own pharmaceutical company, and that acquisition and is much easier through United than almost anybody else. So, but collectively, as the committee was a yes, just go with United.
And everybody showed up at that meeting?
I had
Everybody was there?
8 out of 10.
Okay.
Yep.
So go back to that other slide. What were the actual
And I can't read
what
mine
were the
'cause
dollar
it's-
value
We need
differences
to have much
between
bigger paper in our copier machine.
Cigna and or?
Okay.
My only trepidation is that the last time that we did this,
Mhm.
which was I think in 2019 or 2020,
Correct.
and we changed.
Correct.
It seemed like it was a wreck for all
Correct.
of the employees.
Right.
And
So we've done the research on that, and so United Health is tied into Southwest Memorial heavily. That was during a transition period also when United was acquiring some PPO companies, some smaller, insurance companies. It created a lot of problems on their side also of doing coverage. So it was mostly to do with the dental and the vision, because we were on United Vision and United Dental, and we're not. We're going to stay with VSP and with Delta Dental, so that will not change. And the Lincoln life insurance will not change. So those pieces are not going to change. So what we have found is there are no problems with United. Everybody in the city of Cortez takes United. Currently, the walk-in clinic that's over by Big O Tire does not take Cigna, but they take United. So we actually will increase our coverage for our employee by going to United from Cigna as far as providers that are available. So the issue has been fixed with United, and so with Southwest also. There are other numerous companies in South Montezuma County that are under United, which is Cortez Fire Protection District, Sand District, I'm trying to remember who else, and there are no problems with their coverage. So that was a transitional problem, I think, that was due to a couple different things. And most of the problems, to my understanding, was not in the medical side, it was the dental and the vision side.
okay.
So, with that being said, obviously, you're always taking everybody at face value. We've done enough research, I think we're okay. But, I mean, I can never guarantee, as Jim can test, when you change software, you can never guarantee it's going to go 100% smooth. But I feel pretty strongly that it'll be a good transition. The only issue that we really have, because everything's going to go into ease, they manage that for us through Acrisure, so there's no change for us, for the employee, and how they're going to go in, get into the system, how they're going to do their open enrollment, all that's going to stay the same. So it's a pretty simple transition. If we were to go with somebody else outside of Acrisure, regardless of the insurance company, CEBT, which we looked at, does have a bid on here, and it is United. They are much higher. They would have their own app that we would open and roll on, so we would have had to change systems, which would be more cumbersome for the employee. But we're able to stay with ease. They just switch all the stuff inside of it. So when they open and roll, they're just seeing the United stuff instead of Cigna.
Okay. Questions?
Yeah, what?
Just need to-
Because it's the same thing. I mean, I looked at it and then I started trying to do the math to figure out what our employees owe, and the bottom lines weren't adding up. And so I did some quick looking and figured it out that we were budgeting off of actual numbers from '24, and he was looking at what would be, without the discount, what our numbers should have been.
Using the discounted numbers.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what we're paying, so that's what we have to budget off of. That's going to be our increase, regardless of who's paying for it.
Correct.
Yeah. And so I called him and asked him, and he's like, yes, that was my mistake. Said I didn't even think about that. So,
So the
But-
recommendation is to go with United Health and to offer the 4 plans of the buy-up.
3 plans.
The mid and the
Yeah,
HSA, sorry, 3.
Yep,
And eliminate the
Correct.
base.
correct. And as of right now, it looks as that, and my understanding is we've never presented the cost for the other as part of it, because it's always just been, I think, they've kept it the same from year to year. But the dental and vision, as of right now, are looking to be the same as far as the base cost. The only thing that we're recommending this time would be, and it would be completely on the employee, is because we offered the insurance as a whole, as a package through the county, we offered no buy-up ability for the employee to get something better on coverage for dental and vision. They're very inexpensive buy-ups, but it would be 100% up to the employee, and then they would be at a 100% cost to the employee to buy it up. So if the dental is $34.50 a month, which I think that's what it is now, it would still be $34.50 to the county. And then if it's $4 more a month to get the better plan, then the employee would just opt to buy that up and they would pay for it. So we'll just have more options during the open enrollment at no cost to the county.
So basically, overall, it's a 12.74% increase,
18.64.
18.64. And then we'll see where the open enrollment goes to see actually what
Correct.
people pick to get
Right.
a real number.
And so an actual total budget, actual number won't be until after open enrollment actually were to hit, because it's going to be numbers times however many in each plan on what the actual adjustment is.
Okay. We don't have to decide this today, do we? Or do we?
I don't know.
We don't have a meeting next week,
I'm not
right?
that guru of
So
Ian.
would
What do
we-
you? As far as we're gonna, I mean, we need to move on open enrollment here pretty quick. So
Okay.
I could. Do you need Kent back to really, or do you
No.
want to have some more? We honestly could probably do another week to next week for a final if you need to do some stuff.
No, I was
And I
just
can,
asking.
and we can. Okay.
We don't have a meeting next week because of
Oh.
Election Day.
Oh, that's right.
So it would be
Yeah.
2 more weeks down the road.
Even a better
which is
day.
gonna push it. It's going to push it too far.
Yes.
Would goof up open enrollment, would goof it all up. So
Correct.
I'm good with making a decision today. I think
I am
Commissioner
too.
Copenhafer is, so.
It's up to you guys. Well, I'm up for whatever you need.
So we will-
I have a United Healthcare as my supplement and stuff, and so I know how their drug plans work and stuff like that. And I mean, they'll send you that whole list of stuff.
And I've got it today.
Yeah.
So I'm sending it upstairs because what my plan is, and I hadn't even thought about this because this is my first time doing this part of it, is that what I'm going to work with Jake is I'm going to get those meds from those people because I can have them under HIPAA. And then I can work with him to ensure where we're at with all those drugs. And then if not, put him on them today to try and get them where they need to be by the open enrollment date so that Jan 1, when we transition, they're there. That would be the good value on our part to take care of.
Because open enrollment's probably going to start mid-October or mid-November.
Yeah, probably 2
So,
weeks.
okay. So the recommendation is to go with United Healthcare and to offer the 3 plans of the buy-up, the mid, and the HSA.
Correct.
Okay.
And then we will have, they're not on here, but they will be some possible buy-ups, employee-only cost for vision and dental. Because I don't have the information still yet.
Okay. But those are not going to change.
The
Should not
cost to
change.
the county will not be changing, my understanding. It's still going to be the same price. Any increase is going to be taken up in that 15% by the employee, and it's usually in like 2 to 3% at the most. And then the buy-up would obviously be their option if they wanted to increase their coverage. That's their choice. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I move to approve the United Healthcare bid for the health insurance for county employees with the OAP buy-up, the OAP mid, and the SHA1 plans.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to approve the insurance change to United Health with the 3 plans presented, the OAP buy-up, the mid, and the HSA 1. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. There you go. Thank you, sir. You're welcome. Appreciate it. All right, we'll go right straight to our attorney's report. Mr. McLaren.
Last Friday, we received 2 filings in our Dollar General case. We received a motion for summary judgment and also the opening brief from the dollar store representatives. And so responses to them are currently due in early December. I will file a notice with the court and also request an extension of time to submit those responses. And so I'll certainly keep you guys updated as we get an order on that. I'll try to get that submitted today or tomorrow. We received so the sheriff was named as a respondent in a action that was filed by a pro se party out of the Montezuma County Jail. It's a writ of habeas corpus. He's challenging his conviction out of Dolores County. There was a Dolores County conviction that entered. He named the sheriff. He's trying to get his sentence stayed pending these constitutional challenges that he has raised. Quite frankly, in looking it over, I'm pretty confident that the sheriff's not at any fault here, and this is really a pro se party that's making some unique sorts of claims. But that is out there. I did forward it on to Aaron Johnson, the sheriff's counsel, and also the sheriff, and we discussed it briefly. It has been submitted to insurance. I'm not sure whether insurance will pick it up, but if they don't, I certainly will assist the sheriff's counsel with a response to this. And so that's really the updates for this week. The response will be due in 21 days from the date of mailing, and it was mailed 7 days ago, and so we're looking at about 2 weeks. But it shouldn't be a super in-depth response. And so if insurance picks it up, then they'll handle it, and if not, we'll handle it here internally.
All right, thank you. Travis is not here, but do you have anything for Travis?
Said nothing.
Okay.
Nope.
All right, very good. Commissioner Copenhaver.
Last week, I attended the Mancos town meeting. They received a housing assessment legislative update from Shaq Powers from Region 9. They also had a Mancos United presentation about some projects there, the project there in Mancos itself. Other than that, they just had a liquor license renewal and an appointment to their planning commission for Ed Hallam, who used to be on their board. And they appointed him to the planning commission. I also had a discussion about the number of bears they've retrieved out of Mancos this year. I think they've had 3 of them right there by their school that they've retrieved and removed from Mancos just this summer. And part of the assessment was that just because the school is feeding so many kids, and evidently their waste was attracting the bears somehow, whether they're not in a good container or whatever. But that's what their main concern was. But they've actually had to retrieve 3 of them right out of town right there this fall. So it's getting to be a problem, especially with all the kids right there. So never know what would happen with that deal. So but they've been removing them as soon as they could. So it's been working out. That's about all I had as far as.
Okay. Very good. Well, yesterday Commissioner Copenhagen and I sat in here with a group of about 21, 22 people for our coffee with the commissioners. Had a great conversation over several topics, from ag land solar to Chicken Creek land grabs to insurance. So several of good discussions were had yesterday. So thank you all for coming. I appreciate it. It's a good way to be able to speak to the people in a non-formal, it's still public, but not televised setting. Our next one will be November 25th. It will also be here in our boardroom. We then had the opportunity to go have lunch with our seniors here in Cortez. They were serving here. That was actually Pleasant. So if you're a senior and you're looking for something to do, get involved in the senior center. They actually have a lot of activities going on over there. Pick and choose what, is entertaining to you, and get involved with the community and or with the seniors. Came back and had our workshop yesterday, which we've addressed all of the items on our workshop that were presented yesterday. Ended up going then to the Dolores Town meeting last night. Their discussion that they had in their workshop was basically snow removal, how they're going to deal with that. I was not there, but I did get into the regular meeting. Manager's report gave the board of information on their GOCO grant, their Phase 2 water project, which they will have to increase some of their rates over there just to get the funding, or to show that they are doing their share in funding for their Phase 2 water project. And that's really about all that I have. So with that,
I move to adjourn.
second,
Oh,
it's
Kim, do you
been,
have anything? I'm sorry.
That's okay. I just wanted to remind everybody that next week is Election Day. We will have VSPCs open at the Ute Mountain Community Recreation Site on Monday and Tuesday. Mancos Public Library, Election Day 7 to 7. Dolores Public Library, 7 to 7. Of course, the Montezuma County Annex is open now, 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, Saturday 9 to 1, Monday and Tuesday of next week. So if anybody hasn't received their ballot at this point, you need to stop by one of these VSPCs and either get a replacement ballot or vote in person, however you'd like to do it. I wanted to let you gentlemen know that we have just under 6,600 ballots already returned, so about 32%, somewhere around there. And things are going good. So.
Thank you.
good deal. Thank you, Kim. And
I move to adjourn.
Sorry.
And now
Sorry,
I
I
will
forgot
second.
that.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn this October 29, 2024 meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.